Hello and welcome to episode 140 of Arsenal Above All. How you doing, Mac? After that, how you feeling?
Well, I got a few things to say. Let's say that. Let's put it that way. And they're probably not all good.
Yeah, I know. Thanks for coming on again tonight, man. I really appreciate it. You know, a week's flown by since what we did over there in Lisbon, and it was enough for us to get through to a second successive semi-final in the Champions League for the first time in the club's history. I'm sure Mikel Arteta will put that on his CV wherever he goes to next. And, great achievement. Tough to watch, as it has been for the last couple of weeks, watching Arsenal. But through to the semi-finals and playing Atletico Madrid, who did the business against Barca yesterday, and obviously we did the business on them earlier in the group phase, in the league phase, I should say. So it's going to be interesting to see. We had this kind of situation before, didn't we, last season when we beat PSG fairly comfortably in the league phase, and then we played them again in the semi-finals, and we know what happened then. So let's hope lightning doesn't strike twice. But let's get into it. The 0-0 draw was enough to go through. Mac, as usual, you know, the things that, you know, which sets the grenades off in the Arsenal multiverse is the lineup. And for me, seeing the front three again, Madueke, Martinelli, or Sonic the Hedgehog, who I call Martinelli, Madueke, and Martinelli's almost like the other guy. Who's the other guy? Tails, who runs at 100 miles an hour. That's what they do. And Gyökeres, who had another sort of poor performance again, disappointing from him, you know, snatching at stuff. But what's the overall thoughts of what you saw tonight? For me, we need to get some players back, man. We really desperately need to get some of the key boys back. It's a shame we wanted one or two more to appear on the bench at least tonight with what we've got to come. But what was your thoughts on that lineup, especially maybe at right back with Mosquera?
Yeah, so let's talk about the positives, and then we'll talk about the things that they were lacking. There's not many positives, to be fair. So that's the truth of the matter. So it's nice to see Hincapié back. It was great to see him back in the squad and like fully fit this time. I think we've missed him, and just his guile, his creativity, and his desire to go forward, and also he's just got that athleticism they can get back and cover. So it's lovely to see him back in the squad. I thought it would be nice to see Eze back at number 10, but obviously we'll talk about that. That didn't really work out great. obviously, like you said, we're massively missing Timber, and look, Mascara did a good job, but he's young, and panic kicked in a bit. So he was okay. I mean, you could give him probably a 6 or 7 out of 10. I think it's okay, but I think he made a few mistakes that Timber wouldn't make. I think, look, Saliba and Big Gabby look tired. I mean, some of the stuff is very sloppy from them at the moment. They're not getting at the end of anything, so that wasn't great. As far as you've already talked about the front three, I think the front three. I already said it to you even before as soon as I saw the lineup, that I would have preferred Madueke to be sitting on the bench and come in for maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and have Dowman starting, because if you're good enough, you're old enough. All this trying to protect this guy, let's get him on. You don't see they don't see Lamine Yamal being protected. Get the guy playing.
Yeah,
I don't understand why you're holding him back. And when he came on, he made a huge difference. So, I mean, look, you say about the big players, but we know Saka hasn't scored this season, this year, a calendar year. Still, I just think, he's our captain for now. Is not been good. Martin Odegaard, he runs around, but he doesn't do much. But I think Timber's probably the biggest player that we're lacking on a regular basis. But apart from that, realistically, the players that are off are not doing a great job.
We'll talk about later, but I'll ask you now: if you could have one of those three back, or let's say one of those four back, so that's Calafiori, Timber, Odegaard, or Saka, which one would you like to have back? Like, if you knew they were going to start and be on it, or who do you think? What do you think?
It's a no-brainer. It's got to be Timber. Timber is the one who drives things forward. He covers the right. We've seen the people who've come in to look after that position, and they've all been not great at all. They've been okay, but Mascara is a centre back. Let's be quite frank. He's struggled on that side. I just think he needs to be there, and obviously Ben White, we know he's not playing as best. Hasn't played his best for a long injury, and he's just not got the cover and the awareness and the strength. I think Timber's the one. I think Calafiori is not great. Full stop. Martin Odegaard, I've just talked about. He's got his creativity severely lacking, and Saka hasn't scored. I mean, he's a shadow of his former self. So I don't know what happened. Even he's got his money, and that was that. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Timber as well. Obviously, I think because we lack so much going forward, I think maybe an on-form Saka, because we haven't really had one all season. I just think he would make a massive difference if he came in and had something up there for us, making good decisions up there. But tonight we had to get over the line, and by hook or by crook, especially after what happened at the weekend. So that is absolute disaster class from everyone involved. Arteta as well. He had to take his share of it, and the players, because I think the players were just doing some absolute madness and crazy decisions. Especially the guy there, David Raya. I don't know what's got into him the last couple of games with some of the passing he's making and the risk he's taking. But I think it is down to a lack of movement, and a lot of teams now seem to have wisened up to what Pep did to us in the cup final, and doing this sort of mid to high, sort of low block where they just stand in the passing lanes and make it difficult. But you think that happened?
What do you think of the Tifo, bro? Just out of interest. What did you go back to you? Because obviously you showed the Tifo. I find it quite funny because it's nice to have something big. But I also find it quite hilarious because Timber, who we need, is on it.
He's on it. Yeah, he's not there.
And Rice is playing okay.
Odegaard isn't there.
Odegaard is not there.
Yeah.
They didn't get the memo, did they? Madueke's not been great, and Trossard was on the bench. So of all of those players, only one person started. Fair play, was the captain, but I found that quite hilarious.
Yeah, I think it probably would have made more sense if they had the players that got us to the final in 2006. Would have been, if they had Henry, Lolo Torre, whoever, Jens Lehmann, obviously with the penalty save, had those guys in it. So to say, okay, who got us to that final. It would have been nice to have that, but I know they want to dial in and touch base with the players that are actually there now. But the choices were a bit strange, especially with with Trossard doing his thing. Obviously, that goes into him looking through his binoculars, whatever.
Yeah,
but Madueke, should have been there. What's he doing on there? And then the two of the guys have sort of ghosted the running, for the last couple of weeks, which is disappointing. But let's talk about Madueke, man, because it's so it's so disappointing. I was talking in one of the group chats, but if you gave me Pepe over now for the rest of the season, I'm taking him 100 times out of 100. That guy got so much flack, and he was the most unserious football player I think I've ever seen. The one with the guy just didn't have any killer instinct in him whatsoever, and the way he played the game. But he delivered numbers. He scored goals and he got assists. And I find the same with Madueke, but he just doesn't produce the numbers. He's so sort of blasé when he is in possession. He doesn't do anything to beat his man. When there's a couple of occasions where he got the ball on the right and he's got space to run into, engage, and he just didn't do it. He takes too many touches and he just plays a nice safe pass. And it's looking like Chelsea have done us again. And if there's got to be one message you want to put across to Andrea Berta, just stay away from any more Chelsea castles from the side, please. We don't need any more. Don't even entertain Mudryk. When I think he's off his ban now. Don't entertain that. Don't entertain any other Chelsea players that they want to get rid of, because obviously their financial situation, especially if they end up missing out on Europe altogether or end up in the Conference League, they're going to be having a bit of a fire sale. Stay away from.
100%. There's no one there in that team that's worth buying. And as you said, if you think about all the people who've got the Petr Cechs of the world, I mean, obviously Havertz has been on and off. Obviously Madueke, and the list goes on. There's obviously several other players I've probably missed. Who else have I missed? But all of them have they've either been completely done. Their body is completely done. Like Petr Cech was waste. Or they're just not great at what they do. I mean, Madueke, like he said, he literally one touch and he's rolling around. He never holds up the ball. He ebbs and flows in the game. If he gets tackled, he wants to roll around a bit and stay down there. He never ever holds up the ball, pushes people off, and then he has moments of magic where, obviously, in this later on, he did better, but then when he's obviously not getting near the goal or scoring, then he gets selfish. So that run he had an amazing run. All he has to do is lay it off to Martinelli. I don't know if it'll be on target, but at least it's common sense to lay it off. You've done all that effort, and then you're trying to score yourself. Selfish. Okay? And it's all kind of as you said, bro. You said it yourself. You said he should be in the Baller League, and I agree with you. A short form of the game is perfect for someone who likes those tricks and mucking about, and just scoring lots of goals. But as far as in a proper 11 aside, I think he's too predictable. Every time he ran at people, they kept taking the ball off him. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, I think it got into his head the amount of times he just kicks and running the ball off the pitch, because I just didn't really see him hitting the line like that. He was very, very played within himself. And if you're going to do that, then what are you in the team for in the first place? I just think when Arteta goes with Martinelli and Madueke, he hasn't got that option for off the bench, that pace. He's got all the pace on there at the beginning, at the start of the game, and where you kind of need it at the end, like tonight, you could have used him, you know, on a counter, a couple of counters, to stretch the play a little bit. But because he started both of them, he doesn't give himself that option. It's more going to be more technical, even though we kind of saw it out in the end. And then there was a moment when Trossard got through, and then he just messed it up, and it was like, well, you know, what are you doing? That was when the other two, they probably would have taken it into the corner. So I just think he's got to stop with that, playing both of them at the same time.
No,
but
I agree.
Like you said, you haven't got what are your options? Your options is an out of sorts Trossard, and then you've got the other option is a 16-year-old kid. But you're probably going to have to rely on one of them for Sunday now, because of what's going to happen, obviously, with the layout and everything and stuff. But man,
I personally think, this is what I think personally, is that when I remember, obviously I went to the Real Madrid game around this time, and it actually was this time because of Easter, and I was obviously at the Bernabeu. It was so important for obviously that killer goal that Martinelli scored, that he came off the bench.
Yes,
exactly what you said. So I'm just literally saying exactly what you're saying, concurring with it, that him coming off the bench, him bringing that pace, completely bamboozled Real Madrid. And you know, obviously at the time as well, you know, they were obviously gunning for trying to score as many goals as they could. They only scored one obviously at that point. But for him to get the ball and the ball past him, and him running and running and running and running, and then shooting it across goal, obviously Courtois was it Courtois? He was already, and that pace is what was needed. Like I said, in the last 10-20 minutes, when both teams were tired, it was clear that Sports were tired. We could have really done them, and put, you know, broken them. Instead, we're doing silliness. What was Raya doing? Like he said, what was Raya passing the ball? Hold the ball. Why are you rushing the ball? Getting the ball to Trossard when there's only 2 minutes left. Hold the ball, hold it, take your time, relax, you know, and then hoof it up. It's just common sense stuff. There's a lot that, and I've written it down on my notes. Panic was the central part of our game today. After that first 10 minutes on both halves, we were panicking, doing silly things, which we never do. That corner from Rice that went straight round and out. We never see that from the guys. All panic in their legs, panic in the way they played, in their minds.
Yeah, I just hope that now they've got it out of the system, got the Bournemouth game out of the system.
Yeah.
Got a clean sheet, which is always a good thing, especially with those guys. You know, the way how proud they are of getting those, getting that performance out of the system. Actually achieved, you know, a significant bit of history tonight as well. You know, as I said, first time in 140 years we've not done that, and obviously now, I think Martin Keown said tonight, don't even think about training tomorrow or the next day. Just rest and then get ready for Sunday, because that's one of the things is Arteta that, you know, he probably will have him in tomorrow afternoon or something like that, and then have him in again, and then just do these intensive sort of stuff. I just hope he dials it down. He has to do that really, because I think that's what everybody else does. Dial it down. It's all about recovery now, because the players are fit enough to get through games, so you don't need to just beast them like it's pre-season, you know, or whatever again. You don't need to do that. You know, you saw at the end, Rice at the end, when he was just standing there at the end at full time, and he was staring into space. The guy's in pieces. He's in absolute. You saw some of the way he was just moving around the pitch. He wasn't as agile as he usually is. Some of his set pieces, he was under hitting some, then he was over hitting a couple, because that's him adjusting and getting his body right to, you know, to put his whole foot through it and things like that. He just didn't look 100%, and like, you know, he's being managed through, and I think a few of them are, to be honest. I think, you know,
100%.
Gabriel, Zubimendi, I think they're all kind of managing themselves through these games, and again, it points back to the squad management, but it also points back to the players just getting constantly injured. It's a never-ending thing, isn't it? One leads on to the other. You know, and if you don't manage the squad properly, then you start burning players out. This is what's going to happen. You know, Zubimendi again. I thought he would have played Norgard tonight.
Yeah, I should have. He should have.
Because again, Zubimendi, again, he's gonna play again on the weekend. It's just getting run into the ground, and it's like I don't understand how he's. Obviously we can't see what happens in training, but Norgard, is he really? Does he trust him that much for him to not get
every
anything?
time he plays Norgard though, he's quality.
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't know if I heard it right or not, but I don't think he started a Premier League game for us, Norgard. I don't think he started a Premier League game. I don't know if I think he might have started one, but I don't think he's played a Premier League game. He's not started one. That's crazy. I know he's obviously in the cups, but he's just run Zubimendi into the ground, man, and he looks shaky again still. With his couple of passes, he was under hitting and stuff like that. So yeah, just rest up now. Rest up, please. Till Sunday. And just run it back. We'll be happy with a draw, getting out of there with a draw, won't we? If that's
I think that's what they're going to aim for. I think you said that already.
Yeah, people are saying to win and go there and get a statement. But if you've got your full team out and you're firing, then I think But at the moment we're a bit hurt, we're a bit wounded, a little bit, a bit fragile. So you kind of want to just go in there, get out of there with a draw. But if the opportunities come, take them, because I think City are not this invincible machine like they were in their treble season. They are still a good side when they're allowed. But I think in the first half, saw little bits of it in the first half against Chelsea. Chelsea had them on the ropes a little bit. They scored. They had a goal disallowed. They didn't look that impressive, but then they just went up a gear second half, and then it was a wrap once the first one went in. So I think.
I do worry about our second half, though. I think if you look at most of our games where we've been struggling recently, we used to be, for the most part of the season, we've been the team that in the second half comes good. But because of fatigue and what other reasons, injuries, we've actually reversed it. So now the first half we play reasonably well, usually keep the score really low. But the second half is where we really start to struggle to keep up, especially those last 20, 30 minutes. Obviously, today was a bit different because obviously Champions League and it's cup. But I think in the league, that's where we've really struggled. Definitely that last 30 minutes to really keep going. And that's purely fatigue, I think. Like I said, squad management. You've got the Brentford captain or ex-captain on the bench week and week. He didn't even look like he was ever going to get on today, ever. And he was in all his kit. And you're not playing this guy. This guy knows how to football intelligence, to squad management of the ball at the back is what we need. Let Zubimendi have a rest. Even take Zubimendi off for the last 10, 20 minutes. But he just doesn't, for some reason, trust him. I don't understand it. And like I said, because of that, that's where our biggest pinch point will be on Sunday, I think. And any game we play, really, for the rest of the season, we've got obviously difficult games. Like I said, away Newcastle, they're at it. Home against Newcastle, they obviously had obviously it went against them on the weekend, but overall they're playing pretty good. But the main thing that I'd like to say is, and this is, I've just looked at the stats: 15 shots, 1 on target.
Yeah.
We are not scoring enough goals.
Yeah.
And it's been a problem for us for the last, few weeks. We're not going to score enough goals. We're never going to win the Champions League. We're never going to win the Premier League. We've got to score. We can't rely on, sometimes, fine, 1-0 to the Arsenal. But even tonight, I mean, we were playing with fire big time. Obviously, it bounced off the post for them and for us. But, if that had gone in, would you have confidence that we could come back? I don't know. And Raya, as you said, over and over again, was poor. But I mean, his game management was horrific at times. But I just think when we really needed to get one goal done and dusted, we didn't have that in our armory at all. Eze was fading in and out of the game.
Yeah,
he had big talk before the game, as we saw in the interview, but he faded so badly. Too much walking, too much slow play, too predictable. yes, it's historic that we've got through, but that's irrelevant if you don't win the big one.
Yeah.
You know, it's all well and nice, but we've got to win something.
Yeah, and when you see who we've got, obviously, as you said, you know, this is it's going to be a different Atletico Madrid side. You know, we saw that the way they were playing against Barcelona in both legs, the way they some of their movement. Obviously, Alvarez is a player that we're looking at, and rumours are that we are, you know, definitely in negotiations of him coming. Hopefully, fingers crossed. And he's a top player. And I remember the game we played earlier. Before we sort of broke the deadlock in that game, they caused us some problems in that game, and him especially. He was dangerous. I think he hit the bar with a really good shot. I think he had I think was it? Did Raya mess up in that game as well? And the ball was, you know, his open goal, and he missed it. And Alvarez actually missed it. It just went wide or something as well. So they're going to be dangerous. And obviously Simeone, he's going to want to put that first leg to bed in the first game, because he knows probably coming, you know, what we did to them, you know, winning 4-0. He's probably thinking, look, if we're going to get through, we need to win here at home, and, you know, convincingly. So we're going to be it's going to be put on us, man. So we're going to make sure we have to, whoever is ready for that game, and get people back for that game. Timber has to be there.
Timber has to be there.
You got Saka there as well, and even Odegaard, just to control things a little bit, I think, as well. I think the game would suit him to keep the ball ticking over and stuff. If we go there with what we've got at the moment, and people flagging and stuff, we're going to be in some serious trouble in that first leg. It's going to be like a whirlwind. So I just hope that we just need, like I said at the top of the show, we need bodies back, man. We need to get some players back. So even did you see
Lookman's goal as well for Atletico? That was they're clinical. He had one pass to him, and he smacked it, and it went in. That's it, done, finished. That obviously that kind of clinicalness is what we need. But if they've got that in their armory, where a guy can get one pass across the goal and he can hit it first time, not take an extra touch, just one touch, and it goes straight in. I mean, that's some scary stuff. And it's going to be tricky. We would not be able to defend that very well. We like to stand off, don't we? We don't like to overcommit.
It's going to be scary, man. Get you scared already, even with what we've got to come. But obviously, on the other side, it's going to be an absolute. I'm glad that these games are going to be played on separate nights, so you can actually watch. Because I wanted to watch the Real Madrid and Bayern game tonight, and that sounded like an absolute like basketball game, like an all-timer that was. So PSG obviously against Bayern Munich, even like you said, the finishing of Dembele's goals yesterday. I mean, different levels, man. Absolute levels they've got, and their attack is frightening. You know, the worry is if we manage to get to the final. Hopefully, we do. You know, of course, that we get sort of embarrassed like Inter did last year. That's the nightmare thing that keeps me waking up in the middle of the night thinking, oh Christ, you know, to get there and then to play against them again, and you're thinking, oh, it's a chance to get revenge on them and what they did to us, and then they just show us levels. So again, we need to get a stronger team as we can, our first team, proper team back, to give ourselves a chance. Because I think if we have them, we've got a very good chance. I think if we're kind of playing what we're playing tonight, we're going to struggle. But yeah, just fingers crossed. What
I would think though is that if we get to the final, we'd have to take a leaf out of the girls. We'd have to take a leaf out of the girls, and you know why? Because they were the huge underdogs against Barcelona, huge, and we are good at making games very tricky and in effect defending in an awkward way to almost get the draw and then nicking one. And that's what you'd have to do. That's the only way I could see us doing it in the final, by literally, because all the teams around us now, we get through Atletico, great. But if we get to the final, either PSG or Bayern have got so many goals in them, so many. And we don't. So we'd have to make it tricky for them to even get anywhere near having a shot on target, and then try and hopefully nick one. That's the only way I can see us, even with or without our best players. Even if we had every single player fit that we need, and they were firing, because we haven't got any goals in us, we would have to literally do 1-0 to the Arsenal. That's the only way.
I saw set up for Gabriel set piece. He hasn't scored a goal in a while, man. So he's due one. So let's hope that comes in. Let's manifest that. Shall we? Let's see. So obviously, let's go to Sunday. Let's get that out of the way, man. Obviously, let's hope the guy on the right is back. I'm saying I think it'd be great to have him back, and if he's, he just gives them something to think on the other side. I know he didn't play well in the cup final. A lot of them didn't. So it's a chance for obviously some sort of redemption. We've sort of given them a massive way in, which is really disappointing, especially where we were, especially after we got that result against Brighton that time, and then followed that up with the Everton win, and then they drew the 2 games against Forest and West Ham, and we are where we are. So what's your thoughts for Sunday? We get out of there. Obviously, we take a draw right now, wouldn't we? And then just try and see what we do against Newcastle for them. They're not cut and dried. Those 2 teams have made it difficult for us the last couple of seasons at home. And I'm worried about Newcastle's on the break with what they've got. But what's your thoughts? A lot of people say, no, if Arsenal get a positive result against City, then they'll win it. But it's not as cut as dried as that for you.
No, I still believe that we could win it. But if we win it, we're only going to win it like on either points difference or by like 1 point. I think the weekend has got a draw written all over it. They're going to go for it. There's no 2 ways about it. And we are going to try and hit them on the counter. That's how it's going to go. That's literally it. We're going to play very much parking the bus and then try and get one on the counter. That's how it's going to go. And I think it's probably going to be 1-1 or 2-2 draw. It's going to be a score draw, definitely. They're definitely going to score, and then we're going to score, and that'll be about it. I think they may win it, but I think I don't think we've got enough in the tank to win. But I hope I'm wrong. But I think a score draw for me, 1-1 or 2-2. Yeah. I think. Do you think?
Can you see them dropping any more points on their side?
Yeah, I can as well. I think it's not all home and hose for them, because obviously they've got the FA Cup, obviously semis, so they've got that extra game. I think I'll go through our game. So I think draw on the weekend. Newcastle will be a draw. I think Fulham will beat. I think West Ham will beat. I think Burnley will beat. I think Palace. It depends where we're at, but I think if we're looking like second place, we'll win that quite easily. It'll be if it's like literally win or lose to win the league. It's going to be quite a tricky game, because then obviously when we get stressed. But I think we would just about overcome it. Just maybe get 1-0 or something. For them, like I said, draw on the weekend. I think Burnley away. That's 3 points. Everton away. I think that's a draw. I think Brentford is a win. I think Bournemouth could be a draw. I know that the guy is leaving, but I still think that Krupp and the rest of it are brilliant. So that might be a draw. And Aston Villa's a win, definitely. I think Palace it depends again for them where they're at. But I think that could be a possible win. It depends as well as Palace as well. Palace seem to have found their feet again after all of the whole ins and outs they've had. That's why I say both games, they could be literally the kingmaker for both teams. Because if they beat us both, or they draw against one, win against one, who knows? So I think that's probably more the kingmaker game. But I think Everton are no mugs at home. I mean, we were lucky to walk away with a draw, with a win. Sorry, but I think they and the way Moyes sets up, he's so clever. I just can't see them beating them. And I think Areola would want to go out on a high. And they beat Man City already. So they can do it again. And they were on a run at the same time. Man City were on a run when they beat them. So, and they got
going by that, I think you've got us at 82 points, and then them at 78. So
I think maybe it might be closer. But say for example, they win one of those. What's that? Put them on what 80 at 1 point back, 1 or 2 points. So I think that's what I think. I think we're still, if the things go our way, I think we will win, but only by just literally by 1 point or points difference, or goal difference. Sorry, but I think that's how we're going to win. I think it's going to be very tight to the end, and the game even on the weekend may not be the decided one. I know that the media love it, the Premier League love it because it makes a huge deal. But we usually see these huge deal games come to nothing. Like we usually see them as a draw, or we how many times have we seen it before? The Liverpool, Man City games, and the rest of it. They always kind of it's very tepid because everyone's very scared to lose. Man City are in a good position because they want to win it, and that may make it interesting. But I don't think, if I'm brutally honest, I don't think the game of the weekend decides who wins it, because I think there's other games we've both got which are tricky. So there's still points to be dropped in other games.
Yeah,
and they've got the FA Cup as well.
Yeah, especially like you said, they've got the other teams that they're going to be playing. Obviously, is it Everton going for Europe? Obviously, they've got Liverpool in the Merseyside derby at the weekend, and they're pushing for Europe. That'd be great for them. Obviously, in the new stadium. Bournemouth, we know how dangerous Bournemouth are. Like you said, I can see them dropping points there. But on the other side, you can see us getting unstuck against Newcastle, because they'll come and make it a bit awkward because they've got this sort of imaginary beef with us, and for going over the last couple of years. So they'll love to come and make it horrible, even though they've been poor away from home generally all season. And like Eddie Howe's under a bit of pressure, but they would love to come and spoil, which I'm sure they will. Fulham are strange because they're kind of the same. But I think because, like you said, they've got a lot of Haaland in there, so it'll be interesting to see if they get picks. If Silva puts them all on the bench, because he probably knows what's going to happen if he plays them all. He just jump out of tackles and stuff like that. So let's go through, and then obviously West Ham. Let's hope by the time we play West Ham, they're kind of almost there, because they've turned the corner a little bit. But I think our record there for the last couple of seasons have been pretty good. Obviously, we've beat them 6 and 5, haven't we? Last couple of times. So but again, because West Ham, and they're going to try and they need to win, can play into our hands a little bit, especially away from home when they be out a little, come out a little bit more, and maybe we can capitalise on that. So there's lots of ifs, buts and maybes in terms of how it could all pan out. But I do think both teams will drop points. That they won't be perfect going through to the end of the season. There will definitely be some drop points along the way.
Yeah, I think it's more. So I think the main thing is that at the moment it's still in our hands, and that's what. Expect everything to play at their second best game. Yeah, of course, absolutely. And obviously, everybody, even Rice said it tonight in the interview, everybody switches from a 4-4-2 to a 5-4-1 or whatever it is, because they're all worried that we'll go down the wings and we'll take them out. And whilst I don't think Man City will do it, I think most teams will pretty much set up that way. I mean, we know Newcastle will definitely do that. Probably West Ham as well. Most teams will do that. Now, the thing about that, I think what I would say, which was nice about Raya, obviously he's been instructed, is he was going depth through the middle. And this playing out from the back, as we saw, I mean, he got let off massively with that player playing out of the back, and he passed it straight to the Sporting right in front of his goal, and the guy snatched at it. So we got so lucky. But when he hoofs it down the middle, usually in the middle of the park, we're pretty good at bringing it down and controlling it. We've got the big guys there, and I want to see more of that. We need to be less about let's get it down the wing. Let's try and go through the middle. That's where they're not looking for us to play. So I agree with you. There's going to be many twists and turns. I don't think Man City are going to be perfect. You know, the pundits will have you think that Man City are never going to drop another point. That's not true. Just like they've had the thing that they were going to win the Champions League. They got battered. So I just don't think that it's as cut and dry as everyone makes out. So, but we'll see. But I'm still confident that we can scrape it. And I don't think, even if we lose on the weekend, that that's the end of the story. So
I don't think so. I think if we lose heavily, then possibly. But I think I think you saw. I don't know if you saw the interview with Rice. Yeah, you did see the interview. You mentioned it with Rice. The way he was answering some of the questions, he seemed a little bit shirty, a little bit ticked off with the noise and the way he was talking. That she was talking. I mean, she was asking some questions about the attack and everything like that, and this and that. Been a bit spiky with some of her questions, but he kind of played it right back to her like a straight bat, and he weren't taking any of the shit sort of thing. So I think they'll take that, and they can hear all the noise and all the stuff that City have done, Turkey has done, in the cup final. This guy that this
bottle guy,
industry plant. He's a plant man. The guys, Sky are all in on this, trying to pull, take the mick out of the club from just the way they're moving at the moment, the way some of the things they're doing, and some of the way these.
Yeah, there's no way a guy suddenly accidentally has an Arsenal bottle on
Apparently
him.
he had it the last time we played them, which was in 2024, September 2024.
Yeah,
and he's had the bottle all that time.
And
all that time, and then he decided to bring it down away, an away game, against, all coincidence, of course. And I think the club, they're aware of that. They have social guys, they have guys over everything, looking at everything like that. So they know, the players know. And for me, all of that stuff, if that doesn't fire you up for you to go out and make the game on Sunday as hard as possible, then what are you doing? If you're just going to roll over and let these guys take the mick and do whatever, then that's unacceptable. So for me, I think we will show up.
We will definitely show up.
But
we will definitely show up just because of the cup final, just because of, like I said, all the hammering we've been getting, and like I said, the suffer from jerky, whatever and the rest of it. I think that we'll definitely show up. Whether it's enough to win is another matter entirely. But we don't need to win; we need to draw. And then we're fine. But to win would be perfect, but we can't lose. That's the main thing. It'll be definitely one of their best games, I think, that they'll have this side of this 2026. So
I think what you said as well. When it gets the last 15, maybe 20, or last 15 maybe, and then say the game's still in the balance, I think they'll think, okay, we've got a game in hand. We're going to have another game in hand against Burnley. So we'll be able to deal with that sort of thing. We've still got games to catch them, sort of thing. They'll probably be thinking, okay, Arsenal aren't going to be perfect because of the fixtures that we've got, and obviously Champions League, 2 Champions League games, it's smack bang in between. Two legs, 2 tough ones. So they're probably thinking maybe towards the end of the game, if it's still in the balance, they're just going to think, okay, let's just play it safe, because we will. If it's the last 15 minutes of the game, we're not going to be doing anything to try and win it unless City do something stupid. So, I think they would love to beat us, of course, to add to the whole narrative of the bottling narrative. But I think if you probably could say deep down, would you take a point? Let's take a point and just get out of here, and then let's see what we do against everybody else for both teams, and then see who's standing at the top. So, man, going to be interesting.
It's going to be good. We got to just embrace it. I mean, I think with what we've got, we just got to embrace it. I said, even the last game, remember we talked about, we haven't got the creativity, and we just have to accept it. We haven't got the Santa Cazorlas of the world. We haven't got the Fabregases, the Ozils, the Bergkamp's obviously legend. We haven't got that, and we have to accept that. So we have to just play to what we can and be awkward and horrible to play against, and hopefully nick something. That's the only way we can do it. We haven't got. Hopefully in the summer they buy these type of players, but we just have to work with what we've got, and we've come a long way considering what we've got. creatively. So we haven't really got those, we haven't got that creativity, but we still managed to get to a semi-final of a Champions League.
I think it's funny, obviously everyone has a go at Arteta about, he follows whatever Pep does, he does it the season after. He plays the the centre backs after Pep did it, because Pep started playing football. When he got to the Champions League final against Inter, he had 4 centre backs in his back four, and then Arteta started doing that and stuff. He's always like a season behind whatever Pep's doing. So now that Pep's got all these sort of more technical ballers, like Cherky, he's got Semenyo. Does that mean, because Pep's he's trying to go past that sort of possession and control and everything? He's going to more, okay, in the final third, I'm giving it to these guys and let them beat people one-on-one and again. Do you think that means maybe in the summer, the type of players that we are going to sort of be linked with are those type of one-on-one, proper creative? That's why they're probably talking about us being linked with that Kvaratskhelia, PSG, Alvarez, players like that, rather than all these dual monsters, 6 foot plus, whatever guys that win headers and stuff like that, or win their duels. Maybe that's one thing to keep an eye on is
100%.
They're going to go down that route, because he's realizing Pep's trying to change, evolve from that, because you only got to look at see what Bayern and PSG are doing with the type of players that they've got. Yes, different league, but I think then everybody will follow what Pep's going to do, which they always do, and then us following after that, and then everyone's going to say, "Oh yeah, you know what? That attritional football, long ball stuff is going to be faded out, and it's going to be more about actually having some more technical play, players who more create, So it could be interesting to see what happens with that."
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we know football styles ebb and flow. I think that I think it's going to be a mix of both. I think the big guys are always going to be needed at the back, but I do think we need to focus on the creative side of things. I mean, we know he looks at stats and has massive analytical algorithms going, and we're not scoring enough goals. We've been taught, as the lay people, just us as the fan, we know we're not scoring enough goals. And if you really, really want to be winning week in, week out, season in, season out, you've got to have goals in you. And so creativity is what we need. It's clear we need that. We've got people who, how many times have we watched again, even tonight, where people want to play out and then the people are just standing there almost waiting for it to come to them. And the player doesn't know what to do, so he passes sideways or backwards. There's no one they can trust to drive the ball. The only player, ironically, we can trust to drive the ball is a 16-year-old called Max Baumann. That's the only one, honestly. I mean, the other guys lose the ball after 2-3 times. They lose the ball. He's the only guy who's prepared to be brave. Outside of that, we're struggling, and that's why we need to get the guy, hopefully from PSG. We need to get the guys from all the other clubs, because we need people who are creative, who can hold the ball up, who can drive the ball forward and pass it accurately for an assist to somebody to put it in the back of the net. That's what we need. We've struggled with that all season and seasons before.
Let's see what happens, man. It's going to be interesting. Finish the season. Let's just hope we get some players back, man. And you need to start getting them back. Those 4 have just gone missing, so we just need to get them back in drips and drabs. At least one of them come back, at least to maybe start on Sunday, and then a couple, or maybe one more on the bench. And then obviously, after that, or you've got Newcastle, and then they just keep coming back, because it looks like there's a chance that we might have lost Madueke, because he looked pretty bad when he came off his knee as well. So it's always one in, one out, man, with us at the moment as they come back, and now Madueke's out. So, but no, thanks, Mac. Thanks for your time tonight, man. I really appreciate it again, as usual. Let's hope you'll be up for maybe the Atletico one. Let's see, maybe depending on the dates. I know it won't be or anything, but if you're available, we can talk about that one and some more coming up in future. Thanks to everyone watching. Thanks for all the comments and subscribing and sharing and liking. Really appreciate it. We'll be back after the big one, probably on Monday night to talk about it. Let's hope it's a positive one. Again, a little bit like tonight, and then obviously yes, we'll be properly in the running, because that's the big one to get out of the way, and then now we can kind of see where the land lies, what we need to do to try and get over this hump, man. Get this first title in 22 years. It's been too long, and
too long.
Yeah, way too long. Thanks again, Mac. Really appreciate it. Thanks for everyone watching. Arsenal through to the semi-finals, repping for the English clubs again, getting English clubs the fifth place in the in the Premier League, the Champions League place 2 years in a row. No thanks for that. We just get hated.
No,
but who cares? Let's hope win the damn thing, and then we can laugh in people's faces. But yeah, have a good rest of the week. We'll be back on Monday, and come on, you Gunners, come on.